Hi, my name is Jeremy Hess with Akeyless, and in this video, we're going to show you how to inject secrets into a pod with the Akeyless Kubernetes plugin using both an Init container as well as a Sidecar container. There are a few reasons to use an external secrets management platform for managing Kubernetes secrets. Firstly, Kubernetes stores secrets unencrypted, so anyone with access to the cluster can decode the values. Also, with secrets in so many scripts, repos, and config files, it can cause bottlenecks and operational problems for an organization. Lastly, it's better to keep secrets externally for modern app development, where the app has no state locally and everything is kept in environment variables or external files to enable a more microservices-based architecture. This enables secrets to be injected without changing the application or code, and developers don't know or need to know what the secrets are. Only the app needs to know and inject them in at runtime. Akeyless has a webhook that listens for events and injects an executable into containers inside a pod, which requests secrets from Akeyless through annotations in the file. You can inject secrets using the Init container or a Sidecar container. With the Init container, the secret is pre-populated into the pod before the app starts as part of the pod lifecycle. The webhook looks for annotations that correspond to a specific schema and adds the Init container that authenticates. The app then reads secrets from Akeyless through environment variables. With a Sidecar container, an extra container runs alongside the Init container, which tracks changes to secrets, and you can configure the interval that it checks for any changes to secrets and inject secrets into the file system of the pod. This is good for when the secret changes or the application is long-lasting and needs to re-authenticate regularly to grab the secret. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. And as usual, we are going to be working from the docs. And before we get started, some prerequisites. First of all, you have to have your Kubernetes cluster and Helm installed before you begin. A Kubernetes authentication method has to be created, which we have already created. You have to have version 1.16 or later, and your mutating and emission webhook controller needs to be enabled. So the way this works is you can create a static or a dynamic secret, and we, in this case, will just use one of the secrets that we already have created. So here we have my first secret. We're going to go ahead and use this as an example, and we can see the value here, my first secret value. The next thing you want to do is make sure you have an authentication method. We have that all set up here. We have our authentication method here. We have our Kubernetes auth config file here already in the gateway, so we're ready to go. The next thing we're going to do that you can do here if you want, if you don't already have it set up, is to create a role, associate the role, and give rules. And for that purpose, we basically gave access through the admin access role. The admin role basically covers everything. Best practice is to, of course, give specific capabilities to specific roles. The next thing we're going to go ahead and do is configure the Akeyless Kubernetes plugin. So what we're going to do is copy those commands over there, open up our terminal, and we're going to go ahead and add that Akeyless repo and update Helm. Next thing we're going to do is pull out the values.yaml file with the information we need to continue, and we're going to go ahead and edit some of the details in there as well. Okay, so we pull that, and then we can do VI or whatever editor you like to use, and we're going to make sure we have these pieces of information set for us. The URL here stays the same. The access ID, we go ahead and grab from our auth method here, paste that in. The access type is Kates. Okay, we're going to use the gateway as well here, and you're going to want to go ahead and copy your URL. And another key to note is that we're talking about port 8080 and not 8000 like we're used to for previous things, because we are connected to the API there. So go ahead and grab, paste that in, go ahead and 8080. And the last thing is our Kates auth config, which is authenticates conf, and we showed that on the gateway earlier. Okay, make sure that's ready to go. And once we are done, save it and quit. And now we have those values ready to go. And we can continue with the process. The next thing we're going to do is go ahead and create a new namespace. Okay, we have that created and labeled. And the next thing we want to do is install the necessary pods, etc. Spin those up for the Akeyless Secrets injection webhook. Great. And once that's done, you can do a quick check here to make sure everything's up and running. Okay, we got the pod, the service, the deployment. Everything is up and running. The next thing we want to do is to set annotations here, which are going to enable the Akeyless webhook. And also, we're going to be able to inject files or secrets through that. So we're going to use this basic YAML structure here. And what it's going to do is it's going to inject at runtime when the container spins up. It's going to inject the secret that we want into that container. So I'm going to go ahead and grab the information here. Just to make it simple, we'll call it env.yaml. So we're creating a new file here. Paste that information in. And the only thing I changed from what you see in the docs is we're pulling my first secret. Okay. And then we can save and quit. Okay. The next thing we're going to go ahead and do is actually run kubectl apply -f env.yaml, and it's going to create a new pod for us. And we can do get pods. And just to see that the secret was injected properly, run kubectl logs. And there we go, my first secret value. That is the output of the file. And the next option we have is Sidecar mode. And what we'll do is before we run that, we'll quickly go to secrets and keys, grab my first secret, and what we're going to do is we're actually going to update the value. So let's call it my first secret value 2. Keep the previous versions, hit save. And the reason I did this is so that we can see when we use Sidecar to pull up the 2 previous versions of the secret, it will pull up both. So let's go ahead back to the docs here, and this is the file information you could use. And of course, I've updated the secret here. So let me go ahead and grab that. We'll call it create a new file, sidecar.yaml. Okay, paste that in, and of course here you can see I changed the secret to my first secret. It's going to pull the last versions to retrieve is the 2 last versions. Of course, you can change that as well. Save that file and kubectl apply -f sidecar. Okay, we got a new one. And if we run get pods again, we'll see a new pod up and running. And if we grab that and we run kubectl logs test file -c alpine, we can see the latest 2 versions of that secret. And that's how provisioning a secret to your Kubernetes cluster works. So thanks so much for watching this video. We'll see you in the next one.